Salvador Vasquez, that was beautiful. Buenas noches, everybody. Good evening. My name is Davian Trujillo, news reporter with NBC Bay Area, Telemundo, Canal 48. I will be your master of ceremonies today. Thank you to Salvador Vasquez once again for sharing his talent on the arpa vieja. Un aplauso para Salvador. Great job. Welcome to the 4th annual Latino Leadership Virtual Gala. I'm honored to be here tonight amongst dedicated individuals who are committed to improving the lives of our community. Now, if you want to join us on social media, please use the hashtag LLA Gala. That's hashtag LLA Gala. So any posts, make sure that you hashtag it with that. We will also be accepting donations throughout the program. Just text Latinos Lead to 44321. That's Latinos Lead, L-E-A-D, to the number 44321. You can make your donations there, and they tell me that every little bit counts, especially now. Let's start with recognizing a few of our guests. We're going to recognize some of our elected officials who are with us here today. Please welcome State Senator Dave Cortese, State Senate District number 15. Dave, thank you for being here tonight. Also from the California State Assembly, former California State Assembly member Nora Campos. Also, former California State Assembly member Manny Diaz. Welcome tonight. We also have from Santa Clara County, we have from the Board of Supervisors, the Honorable Cindy Chavez is with us here today. Also, former Santa Clara County Supervisor and also Vice Mayor of the City of San Jose, La Madrina de San Jose, the Honorable Blanca Alvarado. Thank you so much, Blanquita, for being with us here tonight. Also, Santa Clara County Supervisor Susan Ellenberg, the Honorable Susan Ellenberg, is with us here tonight. From the City of San Jose, and there's a long list here tonight, please welcome council members Maya Esparza, Sylvia Arenas, Raul Perales, Sergio Jimenez. Also, former council member Javier Campos is with us here tonight, and also former mayor of San Jose, the Honorable Ron Gonzalez. Thank you so much for your support. From the City of Milpitas, please welcome council member Karina Dominguez, who is with us here tonight. Also from the City of Morgan Hill, council member Yvonne Martinez. Also, thank you for being here with us tonight. From the school boards all across the South Bay, please welcome Andres Quintero, the board vice president from the Alum Rock School District. Dr. Ilaria Bauer, my comadre, superintendent of the Alum Rock School District. Ernesto Bejerano, the board clerk of the Alum Rock School Board District. And also Carla Collins, board vice president, San Jose Unified School District. And also Albert Gonzalez, Santa Clara Unified Board of Education, trustee, Area 2. Thank you all so much to our electeds. So many, it's a long list. Thank you for being with us here tonight. Our LLA board members, thank you so much. Please use the chat to recognize these outstanding volunteers who dedicate their time to make this gala happen. Erika Bustamante, Elizabeth Castañeda, Daniel Cedeño, Maria Garcia, Lenis Gutierrez, Myra Flores, Alfredo Matthew, Andres Quintero, Raul Perales, and Rogelio Ruiz. And let's now hear from our alumni who are virtually present with us. We want to hear from you on that chat. Please thank you to all of you tonight, cohorts 1 through 10. Make yourselves known, get on that chat. Let us know that you're here so that we can applaud you for all of the work that you do. A lot of power and energy in this virtual space. It's amazing to hear from all of you via the chat. LLA would also like to thank our sponsors here tonight. Now, for the first time, LLA is as a presenting sponsor. So thank you very much to Google for your tremendous donation and continued support of the Latino Leadership Alliance. We will hear from Javier Gonzalez with Google and the LLA alum later tonight in the program. Again, our presenting sponsor is Google. Our gold sponsor is Wilco Management. Our silver sponsors are Charter Community of Silicon Valley, Rocket Ship Schools, Comcast, Kaiser Permanente, the Office of San Jose Council Member Raul Perales, the Office of San Jose Council Member Maya Esparza, the Office of San Jose Council Member Sylvia Arenas, the Office of San Jose Council Member Sergio Jimenez, Pacific Gas and Electric Company, Laborers Union Local 270, the Health Trust, AT&T. Thank you so much for your sponsorship. We're going to turn now to our virtual table sponsors. That's one way to get you when we're doing everything virtually here. Cruise Strategies, thank you so much for your virtual table sponsorship. DLA Properties, Leslie Rodriguez and California Strategies, thank you very much. Santa Clara County Association of Realtors, thank you for your sponsorship. Stanford University, thank you so much. Also, thank you to Telemundo, Canal 48, and NBC Bay Area. I think I can say that. I've said that several times over my career. We're also happy to have the support of the Office of San Jose Mayor Sam Liccardo. Now, the mission of the Latino Leadership Alliance is to empower Latino civic leadership by identifying, developing, and supporting emerging leaders. With over 120 alumni and the significant partnership with Stanford University, this program has quickly become a premier leadership program here in Silicon Valley. Now let's begin with the program by welcoming a longtime friend of the Latino community and respected individual whose partnership we respect and we truly value. Please welcome the Reverend Jethro Moore from the San Jose Silicon Valley NAACP with tonight's invocation. Reverend Moore.
Thank you so much for having me and allowing me to be a part. And if we could, let us go to the throne of grace. Father, we ask that you open up the windows of heaven and lean out over the battlements of glory. Send down your twins, mercy and grace, O Lord. Let peace and love abound. May the Latino Leadership Alliance continue to be instruments of your Holy Spirit and witnesses of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Give us grace. Give us grace, O God, to dare to do the deed which we well know cries out to be done. Let them not hesitate because of ease, or the words of men's or women's mouths, or of our own lives. Mighty causes are calling them, who are committed to enriching, sustaining, and ensuring the culture and economical survival of the Latinos and the greater community. O Lord our God, our family stands in the need of prayer, for there's trouble brewing in our midst. We've been tossed and driven. We've been bound in misery. We've been in dark halls and slippery places. We've been wounded. Our pain is deep. So we've been sought shelter under that which is greater than ourselves. for you alone are willing and unable. Help us, Lord, to look up to thee, that we can get out of the misery. Help us, Lord, to hear your call and our mighty despair. Lo, I am with you. Help us, Lord, for all the things are possible through you who strengthen us. We beseech heaven and all who can hear. Give us eyes to see and ears to hear. Those whose very lives cry out for justice. Break open the hearts and turn the heads of our lives to service of our people, especially those most in need of your care, O God. We stand before you aware that as mothers and fathers, as aunts and uncles, as grandfathers and grandmothers, our hearts stop in fear, even considering the possibility of losing a young one for only a moment of time. We cannot imagine the terror and trauma of being separated in a country where we do not know when we will be united with our families. God, use our fears to motivate us to bring change, to be a voice for those children. Holy and just God, we turn our lives to you for your divine wisdom. We know the issues around immigration are complex and complicated, and we lift the lawmakers and the leaders of our nation as they discern the way forward. We pray for more than just a quick fix, that they still not imprison our children. We are seeking shelter and safety. May the decisions be infused with your spirit and grace and love. And as we pray for the protection, guard us too from division and othering, that people placing blames and dividing wedges between our community, mistaking criminalization for accountability, multiplying harm instead of healing. Let your justice, who sees into the hearts of all, your light outshine the feeble flicker of the torches of hatreds. Your goodness is greater than evil. Your love compels us to break the silence, to speak truth, and to confess our sins. In the face of continuing hate toward those who are different, may our ears be closed to the ugly diatribes of racists and the weak excuses of the fearful. May we hear with the ears to hear the stories of our neighbors. May we be bold to speak out about the hostility toward the Asian community, and to be fearless to cry no more to violence against women. We pray for the comfort for our families that grieve unbearable losses, for individuals who are wounded and broken in body or spirit. May your spirit rise in healing in its wings and bring strength and wholeness to us all. We pray for ourselves that this hurt not only fade from our minds, but our hearts are broken open. Your passion for justice, mercy, love show up among us in our cities, our neighborhoods, and the faith communities. As justice beyond hope, a peace that passes understanding, in the name of the matchless Lord Jesus, we ask for this Latino Leadership Alliance to be the forebearers and leaders to guide us in this dark night. In the matchless name of Jesus the Christ, we pray, and all of God's children say amen. Amen. Thank you for having me and allowing me to be a part.
You are an indeed orator, Reverend Moore. We thank you so much for being with us and being a part of our program tonight. Thank you very much. It's now my pleasure to invite a longtime friend and someone who I had the pleasure of interviewing when she was first launching her organization focused on Latino voter engagement on NBC Bay Area's Comunidad del Valle. Maria Teresa Kumar is an American icon now. She is a founding CEO of Voto Latino and the Voto Latino Foundation, and an Emmy-nominated journalist and analyst for MSNBC. You see her every night on MSNBC. Maria Teresa began her career as a senior legislative aide on Capitol Hill, where she worked on appropriations and trade policy. She's a graduate of Harvard Kennedy School and an international affairs graduate of the University of California at Davis. She's also a life member of the Council of Foreign Relations, a World Economic Forum Young Global Leader, and a board member of Emily's List. Maria Teresa has dedicated her career to engage in the public, to build democracy and protect human rights. I was in Miami during the first Democratic debate, and Maria Teresa was in the spotlights, being an analyst as she always is on MSNBC. And when she saw me, it was not the famous Maria Teresa you imagine. She was the same humble person who started here in the Bay Area. And it's my pleasure to introduce to you my longtime friend, Maria Teresa Kumar with Voto Latino.
Damien, I have to share with you that that is such a generous introduction. I have to share with you that I am proudly California grown. And who would have thought that when we started this, where we would come. Full disclosure, Damien, I don't think you know this, but you were my first on-air interview ever. So I cut my chops with you, and you were generous and kind and gave me confidence that I could do it again. So Damien, I'm super grateful. Buenas, as Damien shared, my name is Maria Teresa Kumar, and I'm the founding president and co-founder of Voto Latino. And I want to thank every single one of you for joining us tonight. And I want to thank the generosity of the Latino Leadership Alliance for having me. I heard a few names there that I have to recognize, and they're mis hermanas. Norma Campos, who was one of the first people who actually paid interest in Voto Latino and held our first fundraiser in San Jose back 16 years ago. I also want to thank, Cindy Chavez, who one day called me and has always believed in paying it forward and wanted to know if I would be interested in participating in Planned Parenthood's national board of directors. And with her leadership, I came on board, and she and I were the only two Latinas. And by the time I left, we had 6. So it's all about paying it forward. And finally, but not least, mi hermana from another mother, Lorena Hernandez, who is always opening doors for women and Latinas specifically. And today, I would be remiss if I did not mention that it is Women's Equality Day of Equal Pay. And Latinas, as we know, earn 53 cents on the dollar. And when people say, why does that make a difference? As a result, in a 40-year career, Latinas will lose $1.1 million because there's a lack of pay equity. So as we look forward, we recognize that there's a lot of work to do, but I would be remiss if I didn't recognize that. And if I didn't also recognize the horrible hate crimes that have occurred in our country. And if you were to ask me, what is our greatest strength in America? It's our diversity. And what is our Achilles heel? It's racism. And so with that, I want to talk to you a little bit about what Voto Latino is. I hope that you are all doing super well tonight, because it has been such a hard year. How much I would love to be able to be there in person and celebrate with each of you, because we need these moments of celebration so that we can rebuild and move on and grow bigger. As many of you know, and Damien alluded, I grew up in wine country, Sonoma, California. And in my Sonoma, my family tended to the farms and to the homes. They still do. In my Sonoma, at 6 years old, I was culturally translating and navigating America for my immigrant family. As many of you know, this story is so familiar. Whether it was at the doctor's office, whether it was at work, whether it was at parent-teacher conferences where somehow the translation was less accurate. I don't know if any of you were with me, but in my Sonoma, it was a liberal bastion that also experienced a heavy undercurrent of racism and segregation. When I was in college, Pete Wilson ascended to the governorship, and he convinced voters to pass Proposition 187. It was the original show me your papers laws that plagued our country, our community. I have to tell you that my family was simply targeted for being brown and having an accent, and no one was safe. Concerned, angry, and upset, I came back for Thanksgiving from UC Davis and convinced my grandmother, my aunts, my uncle to become US citizens. And just like I was having that conversation, millions of Latinos and Asian American peers were having that conversation. And what we did was transform California and become a blueprint for the future. Proposition 187 was eventually struck down, but our community rose, naturalized, registered, and we voted our hearts out. And a state that was once a swing state became solidly blue. And it's beautiful to see when people say, well, what does the Latino vote do? From this movement came some of today's leaders. We have Vice President Kamala Harris, the first Latino Senator, Alex Padilla, and as of this week, the first Latino Secretary of Health and Human Services, and my friend, Javier Becerra. What it taught us from that moment was the outsized influence that young Latinos have in their household, that they translate for their families, but they also mobilize their families, and they don't take no, and they don't take prejudice. And so Voto Latino's blueprint, that experience for me became the blueprint for Voto Latino. And at Voto Latino, we use culture, technology, and youth to mobilize the world to make sure that they have a safer vision of America for themselves. We depend very much on our democracy and civic participation. On the day after the presidential election in 2016, Voto Latino, we went from providing electoral information to suicide prevention information. It was heart-wrenching. Soon our worst fears materialized. We saw family separation policy, and we saw the worst domestic terrorist attack in our community in El Paso. It was the worst terrorist attack since Oklahoma City. The El Paso shooter, in his creed, quoted Trump, saying that he wanted, and quote, to stave off the Mexican invasion and stop the Latino voting bloc. 2016 also marked the beginning of a tsunami of young Latinos coming of age. Every 30 seconds, a Latino youth turns 18 years old. And this tsunami is not going to crest for the next 10 years. Voto Latino now reaches over 19 million people a month during a presidential election. We have 3.3 million supporters, and we have registered over 1.1 million voters. And 79% of those folks that we register, they vote. This election, Voto Latino focused on states that mattered, that we knew that would change and uproot the electoral map. We've registered voters and got them out in Nevada, Arizona, Florida, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Texas, Colorado, and Georgia. We directly registered 612,000 individuals there and mobilized 3.5 million low propensity voters, many of them who had sat it out in 2016. And when people ask, what did the Latino community do in 2020? Did we come out? You bet we did. And we did a lot to save our democracy. And I don't say that lightly, but through the Latino youth, 7 out of 10 voted for Biden versus our older Latinos where 6 out of 10 voted for Biden. And when I say that Latinos were the determinants in this election, take a listen. In Nevada, Latinos vote held onto the state of Nevada. It held onto the state of Wisconsin. It flipped Arizona. It flipped Georgia. It made sure that there was not only Vice President Kamala Harris in the White House, but President Biden in the White House. And in those flips, we also turned 2 states purple, Texas and North Carolina. We also sent 4 new senators to the White House, to Congress. We sent it in Colorado, we sent a new one in Arizona, and we sent 2 new ones from Georgia. So the next time someone sees you and they say that they're excited about the American Rescue Plan and the check they got, you can say, de nada. We have to hold our heads up high because whatever the narrative is out there, it's just not correct. Latinos turned out, and 40% of us turned out early, and we voted far more than we had in the last 2 elections that we had decided to sit out, more than any other demographic. So again, when someone says that we didn't turn out, please do me a favor and clarify for them. To give you an example, that in Georgia, Voto Latino registered 35,000 folks. Biden won by 12,000. In Nevada, Voto Latino registered 33,000. He won by 20. Even in Wisconsin, where we registered 7,000 Latino voters, Biden won by 18,000. So even those razor-thin margins made all the difference of who was going to occupy the White House, who was going to occupy the Senate. And I'm proud to say that Latino youth were the highest portion of Latinos voting blocs that delivered a new day. These voters whose families are ravaged by the pandemic, who have lost jobs, lives, and housing, showed up for an America to believe in. It is time to think audaciously to build back a country that recognizes the real heroes, but that also recognizes the real institutional racial disparities that COVID showed us. that acts on our climate crisis and rises to the moment required of our time. In 2020, Voto Latino, together with our allies, we turned our protest into participation. We staved off hate, and it's time to get back to doing the people's business. So where do we go now? Keep dreaming, keep listening. That's how we keep learning. Keep talking. That's how we keep educating others, including those who want to turn us off. But most importantly, we have to recognize that COVID-19 has devastated our community more than most in any other group. We've lost lives, we've lost jobs, we've lost paychecks, we've lost time. Both the disease and bad leadership of the past have cost us our community dearly. But it's time for us to start making it up right now. And we have to keep investing in us like the Latino Alliance does. We can't expect for others to underwrite our political power and our liberation. It's up to us. The Latino Leadership Alliance does just that. We are the leaders that we've been waiting for. We are the ones that will guide us to a more equal America that will help fulfill her promise. And I'm so grateful for the work that you do every single day and for the volunteers, because we know that everyone is juggling so many things right now. But our possibility is us to define. And I'm grateful for the chance and the opportunity to be in community with you.
Well, that's powerful, Maria Teresa. Thank you so much. You know, we keep hearing about the sleeping giant, and I think it took someone like Voto Latino and Maria Teresa Kumar to wake up that sleeping giant. Thank you so much for that. My daughter leads a group called the League of Young Women Voters at Notre Dame High School here in San Jose. I have to put her in touch with you to see
They're
how
awesome.
we can collaborate. Thank you so
love
much,
that.
Maria Teresa. You were awesome. Thank you. We'll see you on MSNBC.
Be well. Un abrazo.
Thank you. Igualmente. Thank you so much. Now I would like to welcome our first alumni speaker of the evening. Please welcome Maria O'Halloran from cohort number 10. Maria, you are muted.
Buenas noches, amigos y hermanos. What a pleasure it is to be part of this beautiful program tonight. When I moved to California 6 years ago, I left behind my family of origin in Miami. We are originally from Venezuela, and when we moved to New York, I grew up in New York City and became a New Yorker and an American, and eventually a naturalized citizen. But I never stopped loving my Caracas, right here. Imagine my surprise when I moved to California and I was driving to my new place of work and I saw the hills of the East Foothills welcome me. When I got back to the office, I asked Ron, "What's the name of those hills?" And my boss, Ron Gonzalez, said, "Those are the East Hills, Maria." And he didn't know, but inside for me, that was El Ávila de Caracas. I was home again. Those hills called my name, but the families in San Jose called to my heart. And I had the pleasure and the honor of working for those families and helping to build a bridge to college and to professional careers. In cohort X, I met a wonderful cohort of beautiful men and women, Latinos, who are also leaders in their own right, elected, appointed, hired, and stay-at-home moms in every category, from recent graduate to professionals with 20 years of experience. Together, these men and women, chingonas and chingones in their own right, worked together during the pandemic to study. We came together to analyze race theory, leadership, Latino leadership, power and politics. Tonight, I want to tell you why we're the best cohort and why the Latino Leadership Alliance is the best leadership program for Latinos. It's not just about studying leadership. I have an MBA, I understand leadership, and I work in high tech. It's about studying it and analyzing it from the Latino lens. And this is what we get from the Latino Leadership Alliance. It's understanding the pillars of how we can make a difference in our community working together. And together we stood arm in arm through the distance, through a virtual environment. When my dad died in June, they were right there with me. When I wanted to apply for my dream job, they helped me and I got it. That's what you get from becoming a Latino Leadership Alliance Academy cohort member. So I want to invite you all, if you haven't applied, set up your calendars and apply for the next cohort. Cohort 12 will be fabulous as well. And I invite you as well to consider thinking about what a great investment it is to invest in the future Latino leaders in our community across America by making a donation to the Latino Leadership Alliance. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. That was well said. Please support the other rising leaders by donating once again to LLA. You can text Latinos Lead, that's Latinos Lead, to number 44321. That's 44321 to make your donation. I'd like to now introduce the chair of the Latino Leadership Alliance. Please welcome Lenis Gutierrez to share a few words about LLA.
Great, thank you, Damian, and thank you to everyone who has joined us this evening. And thank you to all who came before us and who have contributed to the momentum of Latino leadership. Last year, we were all together right before the pandemic hit. And although we can't see each other, we can feel your spirit. And we love all the chat, and we love all the powerful words from all the previous speakers. And this year, it's my third year as chair of the Latino Leadership Alliance. And although it's been a lot of work, it's been truly rewarding. And on behalf of LLA, I also want to take the opportunity to share our support of the Asian American and Pacific Islander community. We stand in solidarity with the API community, demanding justice and that the long history of anti-Asian rhetoric and xenophobia in our country is addressed. Ya basta. Hate and violence against one is hate and violence against us all. Now, let's hear from some special friends of LLA.
LLA started about 20 years ago with an idea. The premise was that Latinos in Silicon Valley were more educated, more accomplished, and had access to more resources than ever before. And we wanted to harness those resources to help and serve the Latino community.
Latino Leadership Alliance was going to have to start working on developing more and more leaders here in the community. And so we did that, and the focus transitioned primarily to leadership development.
So that they, when they leave LLA, when they go about their professional careers and they step into leadership positions, they are the vanguard of Latino leadership in the Valley or anywhere they go.
So why did I join the Latino Leadership Academy? Because I wanted to invest in myself, to help build up my leadership skills as a Latina leader, and to build out my ability to serve my community in my best capacity.
Our Hispanic Foundation launched its Latino Board Leadership Academy. I consider both our programs the 1-2 punch for Latinx leadership in Silicon Valley.
Both organizations have worked together to advance Latino leadership here in our Valley, and we're very proud to stand along with LLA in representing the Latino voices in our region.
The Stanford partnership with the Latino Leadership Alliance is critical both to what LLA does and really to the core of Stanford's mission. We have alumni from LLA who are affecting all walks of life in the Bay Area and belong, from politics and education to nonprofits and the for-profit sector.
Give us the courage to make right decisions. Now, Lord, bless this food for the nourishment.
We started working together indirectly because of events in the community that kept coming to common ground. We kept coming to the same place to work on the same issues. And so relationships were built when we found a common threat to our community, a common reason to work together to better our community, a common effort to build up each other as well as different organizations.
LLA was a vision of leaders who wanted to see the pipelines filled with people like you, people who had vision, energy, curiosity, and were ready to change the world. And you come on the heels of leaders like Blanca Alvarado, who really broke the barrier for so many of us who got to follow her. for former Mayor Ron Gonzalez and now U.S. Senator Alex Padilla. You all are helping to create opportunities for many, many more leaders to come in the future.
But suffice it to say that the work that LLA has done, institutionalizing leadership development, has proven itself to be absolutely essential to making sure that our voices are heard, that our views are respected and understood, and that our young leaders who become the leaders who will now take the place of elders like myself are appropriately prepared to confront institutions, to change them where they need to be changed, and to advance the cause of democracy that recognizes that we are all equal in the eyes of the Constitution.
Reflect for just a moment on why we are so grateful for your presence and for your support. I think on behalf of the Latino Leadership Alliance, I just want to thank everybody that has helped, that has supported, that has even doubted the Latino Leadership Alliance, because that has only made us stronger. We have been around for more than 10 years, 11, 12 years. We have 11 cohorts that have gone through, or 10 cohorts that have gone through the Leadership Academy. We're about to launch cohort 11, and we want to thank everybody for being confident in us, por la confianza, because now es tiempo. It's time, si se puede. We're not going anywhere, and we welcome you to join us in this fight to elevate our voices in the community so that we can keep moving forward. Representation matters. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed the video. That brought me chills. And thank you to all of our partners who helped collaborate with us. And thank you to our founders who are helping us and who helped us get to where we are today. 2020 was a pivotal year for our families and communities. LA adapted, we had to switch our programming, and with the help of Patricia Gardner and PAJ Consulting, we invested in ourselves and embarked on our first strategic plan. So let's go on to our mission. The LLA mission: to amplify the voice and expand the power of Latino leadership, engage in policy and advocacy, and build partnerships to focus on race and equity affecting the Latino community. The LLA vision: Latinos will be fully represented in leadership roles and positions throughout the Bay Area. We have also launched core principles and values. Es tiempo. It's time to courageously integrate a race equity lens throughout our leadership, partnership, and policy framework. Conciencia. Honor and integrity will guide our every action by helping build and expand the Latino consciousness and experience on issues impacting the community. Adelante. Advance the influence of Latino leadership and empowerment of our alumni network into action and community impact. Juntos. Together, in partnership, we focus on building our voice and influence. De colores. Cultural pride, respect, and inclusivity are our motivation and success. And si se puede. Yes, we can. We believe in the power of Latino leadership. Thank you, and I hope you can join us as we embark on our journey.
Thank you, Lenny. Nice job. I know that it's like having a second job leading such a powerful organization. So you're all doing fantastic work. Let's welcome now another alum, Javier Gonzalez from Google, to say a few words about LLA and the importance of investing in Latino leadership. Javier.
Muy buenas tardes a todos. Good evening. My name is Javier Gonzalez. I'm the head of government affairs and public policy for California at Google. And I'm also an alumni of LLA cohort number 1, the pioneros, the pioneers, where we've learned a lot of great tools and resources and how to use our voice, not only as individuals, but collectively with our fellow cohort members to advocate for our community. After having gone through the academy, I was able to empower myself to seek opportunities to become an advocate and a voice for those who might not have a voice or are looking to be a voice. And so I joined the California Advisory Committee to the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights. And most recently, this past December, was appointed to a third term, 4 years on this commission, to be able to examine civil rights issues in our state and advise the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights on the issues that are affecting our community. So I'm proud to say that LLA gave me those tools and resources to be able to step up. And I think it's very important that those who are on this call, this program tonight, find it in your hearts to step up and support the great work that LLA is doing. We need to continue to recruit, support, and grow our leaders, both Latinos and Latino allies who have been graduates of the LLA cohorts. You don't have to be a Latino descent to be part of this organization, but collectively coming together to work to tackle the issues that are affecting our communities day in and day out. So thank you very much for this opportunity.
That's great. Thank you, Javier. Thank you very much. We're going to invite Lenny's now back on to join us now for the presentation of the annual Lead Award. Lenny's.
Great. Thank you, Damian. And thank you, Javier, again for joining us. We recently had the privilege of inviting Damian to host an intimate conversation with the first Latino U.S. Senator representing California, the Honorable Alex Padilla, on the importance of Latino leadership. It really is an honor to have Senator Padilla recognize and support the Latino Leadership Alliance's mission. We're proud to have been part of the coalition of the 33 statewide Latino organizations to urge Governor Newsom to appoint a Latina or Latino U.S. Senator.
Thank you, Lenny's. It's a real pleasure to continue my connection with the Latino Leadership Alliance. First as a cohort member, as I indicated earlier, then as a board member, and now, thankfully, Google has invested and continued to support the Latino Leadership Alliance the last 4 years in helping bring that development of Latino leaders in our community. So it's an honor. The appointment of Senator Alex Padilla to the United States Senate celebrates our state's great diversity. Latinos comprise 40% of the state's population and 54% of all students in K-12 public schools. Latinos are an integral part of our state's social, economic, and political fabric.
So over the last few years, we have honored a Latino leader who has made a significant contribution to the local Latino community. In 2013, we honored Tony Quintero, actor and producer. In 2018, we honored Stanford Professor Emeritus Dr. Albert Camarillo. In 2019, Eddie Garcia, LLA co-founder and former trustee of the Eastside Union High School District. And in 2020, former Santa Clara County Supervisor and the first Latina council member and vice mayor in San Jose, the Honorable Blanca Alvarado. Now, I would like to invite our presenting sponsor, Google, who will present this year's Olin Award recipient.
The Olin is the Nahuatl word for movement. It is steeped in Mesoamerican indigenous cultures, and it is intertwined with the stages of human life. To be a great leader, one must always move to grow, learn, support, and break down barriers to create new paths for others to join. So on behalf of the Latino Leadership Alliance, Google is proud to have the opportunity to present and recognize Senator Alex Padilla as the 2021 Olin Award recipient for his lifetime and work protecting and upholding the rights of all of our community members, particularly our fellow Latinos. Now I invite you to watch a pre-recorded fireside chat hosted by LLA between NBC Bay Area's Damian Trujillo and Senator Alex Padilla.
And joining us now is California's newest Senator Alex Padilla. And Senator, congratulations on receiving the annual Oyin Award by the Latino Leadership Alliance.
Well, thank you, Damien, and thank you to the Latino Leadership Alliance. This award, it's truly an honor and humbling. I know it's a testament to the work of countless people who have worked hard to open up the doors of opportunity, and everybody played a part in helping me get here as the first Latino senator from California.
It's an award that means wisdom. How appropriate, for someone of your stature now.
Well, I like to think so. That's certainly the not just the opportunity, but the responsibility that comes with this job, how to exercise good judgment and advocate to the best of our ability for all Californians, especially those who haven't been heard enough historically. And, if we just look at the current COVID-19 pandemic, we know who's disproportionately being impacted by a lot of the issues that we have to address.
One thing you had mentioned to me, Senator, a while back is that when you were being interviewed by the networks after your swearing in ceremony, you said that one of the anchors asked you, well, in this case, the other senators who were sworn in with you, they were elected and you were appointed. And don't you have something to prove? And your response to that was what, sir?
I remember that interview. My response was basically, look, I've been proving myself my whole life. Growing up in Pacoima, proud son of immigrant parents, as many people know by now, because of that Zoom scene around the world. My father worked for 40 years as a short order cook. My mom used to clean houses. And so it was a modest, humble upbringing, to put it mildly, but working my way through public schools in Los Angeles to earn acceptance to the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, to get through MIT in 4 years and earn a mechanical engineering degree. Left an engineering degree behind to pursue public service. Elected to the Los Angeles City Council I didn't know any better. I was a young age of 26 years old, and to become council president just 2 years later. 8 years in the state Senate, 6 years as California Secretary of State, creating the most inclusive democracy of any state in the nation. I think we've been improving ourselves for a long, long time, is what I told him.
And the role of Latino leadership, what does that look like to you, and why is that important?
The diversity in California, it's not just beautiful, it's a tremendous asset. It makes California richer, both literally and figuratively, right? Our economy wouldn't be what it is without the contribution of Latinos and immigrants over the course of generations. And so our community too deserves a seat at the table and a voice in all levels of leadership and decision-making. So to be the first Latino in our state's history to represent California in the United States Senate, as I've said over and over again, a tremendous opportunity and a tremendous responsibility. I'll work hard every day to try to live up to those expectations.
And now that you're there, sir, walking the halls of Congress, have we made it? Is the fight over as far as Latino empowerment goes?
Yeah. Look, I think it's a step in that direction. But as my dad and my padrino, my dad's brother, are always quick to remind me, while it's important to celebrate the milestone and having, whether it's been elected or in my case, appointed to a new position, we can't celebrate until we've actually done something with the opportunity. So how am I going to use this position of the United States Senate to help people and improve people's lives? If we're able to demonstrate that in the months and the years ahead, I think then we can say it was a success.
What can we do here at home? The Latino Leadership Alliance does a great job at preparing our future leaders. It's one-year training, and the cohorts remain with the organization for a long time. But what can we do here at home to make sure that we participate in Latino leadership?
Yeah, I think keep doing exactly what you're doing. The very purpose of the Alliance is not just to recognize and honor current Latino leaders, but you're literally training, identifying and training and fostering, mentoring the next generation of leadership. Look, just like I didn't get here on my own, I stand on the shoulders of all the people who blazed the trail before me. So too will future leaders hopefully stand on my shoulders, not just in municipal government service, state government service, federal service, but go even farther and do much more for the benefit of our community, the whole state of California, and the nation. So that's number one. Keep up the program. The others, stay active, right? Sometimes we lose our momentum or sense of urgency after an election. Oh, we won this one or we lost this one. The next one's not for a couple of years. We have to stay active each and every day around the year, whether it's holding your elected officials accountable, testifying in the state house, in your city hall, at your school board, or just organized within the community. You know, we have a lot more work to do. Our community's come a long way, but clearly a lot more work to do. And I'll point out the United States Senate as an example. 100 members. We have a record high of 6 Latinos. So a long way to go before we reach our level of representation that we deserve as a percentage of the national population. So you can make that case at all levels of government.
Let me digress a little bit. Familia. Your familia is the envy of a lot of families because of the love that is demonstrated between you and your wife Angela and your beautiful children. Talk about the power of familia and that maybe how that empowers you to do what you can and what you've been doing in elected office.
Oh my gosh! Thank you for asking, Damien. You know, we a lot of people say family comes first, but it really does take a lot of intent and commitment to live that way. So for me, family is everything, you know, starting with my parents and a lot of the work that I do honoring their journey, their struggles, their sacrifice, trying to provide better opportunities in life for my sister, my brother, and myself. Now as a husband and as a father, you know, they're my motivation. They're my inspiration. What am I doing today to make sure that not just my children, especially my children, but the next generation and future generations have easier access to the American dream, for them to be as wildly successful as they want to be, whether it's in government, whether it's in business, whether it's in education, whether it's in medicine, whatever they choose to be. And you know, frankly, as someone who's not exactly a 9-to-5 worker, you know, being in public service demands a lot of the individual, knowing that we have a lot of love in our family. They're the foundation. They're my key support that allows me to do what I do. I don't know what I do without Angela and the rooting from the boys every morning. Go get them, Dad.
Oh, and when you were being ceremoniously sworn in by Vice President Harris, and you put your hand on your mom's Bible, and you had your family around you, that must have been a powerful moment for you.
Oh my gosh, it was. I think a moment made even sweeter based on how the actual swearing in happened, right? My heart was broken that Angela and the boys weren't able to join me at the official swearing in, which took place on January 20th, same day as the inauguration of President Biden and Vice President Harris. But between, you know, the risks of the COVID-19 pandemic and the security situation at the Capitol, we saw what happened on January 6th, the violent, deadly insurrection. Big questions as to what was going to happen on January 20th. So they weren't there with me, but about 2 weeks later, they were here, and we did a ceremonial reenactment of the swearing in by the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, California's own Kamala Harris. And so to have the boys be able to stand by my side, help hold up the Bible and kind of pull down my arm at the same time, you know, Angela by my side, and be administered the oath by someone who's making a ton of history in her own right. The first woman vice president, the first Asian American, Black American vice president of the United States, daughter of immigrants. So much meaning just in that moment that we'll always remember.
You kind of exemplify the real meaning of si se puede. You're the person que si pudo. And that's got to be empowering, not only for you, but the people you represent in the San Fernando Valley and everyone else.
And again, it's a lot of reason to celebrate and a lot of reason to be humbled by it because it's maybe making history in my own part, reaching a threshold that no Latino before has as a U.S. Senator representing California. But I can only hope that it serves as an inspiration and motivation to younger people. See, I didn't grow up thinking I could be a U.S. Senator. You know, when people ask me if this is a childhood dream come true, that's not the case. I didn't even envision it, couldn't dream of it. So hopefully by being here, we can give young Latinas and Latinos that option to dream it and to achieve it.
Well, you're an inspiration to many, Senator. We thank you very much and congratulations on receiving the Oyin Award by the Latino Leadership Alliance.
Thank you, Damiana, to the Alliance, to the board, to all the sponsors, and everybody involved with the programs. Muchísimas gracias.
I had told Senator Padilla when he was first appointed that it felt like it was us who were going to the Senate, not just him, us as a comunidad, because that's who we truly represent. There's a lot happening in our country right now. He's a member of the Judiciary Committee, so he's a lot on his plate right now. So we're thankful to Senator Alex Padilla for making the point of being here with us tonight. And he promises he'll be back here in San Jose. He's a family friend. He'll promise he'll be back. And then he wants to say hi to everybody back in San Jose. Let's now hear from a local leader, Santa Clara County Supervisor Cindy Chavez. Please welcome the Honorable Cindy Chavez.
Well, I am really excited to be with you. And it was great to hear these great stories about what LLA has been doing. And I have to say, I wrote down what Maria Teresa Kumar said about we have to underwrite our own political power. We have to underwrite our own liberation. Like we have to be responsible for that. So as you know, I'm usually here to talk about money, to get money out of you. But here's the thing. I just want to say this. If you can please text 44321, 44321, Latinos Lead. There are lots of options. You can give a bunch or you can give a little. Every little bit is going to help. And here's what I have a challenge. And the San Jose Police Officers Association has agreed to match $1,000. They're going to match my $1,000 contribution. And all I need you all to do is raise enough to match our contribution so we can get to $4,000. And that took me a minute to do the math, but $4,000. I think we can do that in this little break. And I just want to encourage you to go to 44321. Every little bit helps. Every little bit is going to get us to that 4,000 number. You know, they use the money well. You can see it by the incredible leaders they produce. And, you know, these organizations that really help lift us up and lift up our voices they're very rare, and we only have a couple of them in our community. And I appreciate seeing the Hispanic Foundation here under the leadership of former Mayor Ron Gonzalez and Gabby Chavez Lopez, who's leading the way with the Latina Coalition, and LLA really brings it all together. And really the partnership with Stanford is so powerful. And I just want to wrap up by saying, you know, leaders that we're seeing emerge like Javier Gonzalez and all of these other amazing leaders, my recruits, I could just go through and name them. Every one of them has been enhanced by this experience, and every one of them is going to do great work for this community. And we need you to invest, and you can invest any amount you want, but try to match our $2,000 contribution. I want to thank the San Jose POA, and I really appreciate being allowed to participate. But I want to say it one more time, 44321, Latinos Lead, and let's lead with our wallets. Thank you.
We're going to hear now from Stanford Professor Dr. Tomas Jimenez to talk about the partnership between Stanford University and LLA, followed by Dr. Miguel Rodriguez, LLA Director of Leadership Development for the Academy. Tomas, good to have you again.
Great to see you, Damian. Thank you so much. I want to express my gratitude for the partnership between LLA and Stanford University. Each summer, with support from Stanford's Provost and the Center for Comparative Studies in Race and Ethnicity at Stanford, Latino Leadership Alliance participants come to Stanford's campus for a weekend of fellowship and engagement with Stanford's faculty. It's sort of a condensed graduate school experience during which LLA participants and a group of faculty come together to discuss some of the most pressing issues related to the Latino community, from political participation and health to leadership and identity. But what I really want to convey is that this partnership is not just a logistical partnership or an institutional one, but it's really a learning partnership that exists between LLA and Stanford. And for me, the most gratifying aspect of those August weekends that we've shared together is that we get to bring together Stanford faculty and their academic expertise and the LLA participants with their professional experience and their expertise, and the conversations that we have during the kind of formal sessions and also over lunch and during a kind of informal happy hour make for just an incredibly dynamic 3 days. And I say this every year because I think it's so true. But we often see ourselves as professors, as teachers, and the students learn. But during these weekends, I think it shows a truism of teaching, which is that we learn tremendously from each other. And so I'm really grateful for the partnership in all its forms. And one of the things that I'm looking forward to when the pandemic is behind us is to those weekends when we get to come together again at Stanford. And so it's with this gratitude that I also want to pledge our commitment at Stanford and my commitment as a faculty member here and as a participant in LLA. I want to pledge my support and my commitment to this partnership. And now I'd like to turn it over to Miguel Rodriguez, LLA's Leadership Development Director.
Hola, buenas, gracias, profesor. Es un honor estar aquí con ustedes. Humbly, Miguel Rodriguez, su servidor. It is an honor to be here with each and every single one of you. And I'm like closing my eyes and squint my eyes because we're in a space and we're all together and I wish we could hear. No, not I wish we can hear. We can hear you. ¿Verdad? All the people in the YouTube and your spaces in your home, we can hear you. And it's an honor again to be here with you all and to serve in this way. So I bring this experience as a member of cohort 7, puro siete, Simon, puro siete, right? As a past board member, right? And then now the honor of serving as the director of leadership development. And so in doing so, I want to share my own gratitude to the co-founders, the founders who had this vision, the board members who have put tremendous time and energy into this, right? The alumni that had the faith to join and invest in themselves and want to give back to the community, ¿verdad? With that, I want to share, right? We recruit. This is something you may already know, but we recruit from what we call the 4 pillars, right? The 4 pillars: education, government, the private sector, and the nonprofit sector. And we scramble them up. So recently, it was like, hey, do I do the board or do I do the DLD? And I'm like, that's easy. I get the fun job is to challenge leaders, as it was stated earlier today, chingon leaders, right? Chingon leaders that are ambitious. My job is easy in that sense, that we bring them together, we challenge them, we scramble it up, and we say, hey, you servant leadership. Let's look at leadership models, but let's redefine them in the way that are important to us, which is grounded in our own cultura. We don't come, right, with deficits. We have tremendous assets. And in doing so, right, we work to redefine what leadership is so that we grow our own civic leadership impact in our community, in San Jose, Santa Clara County, the Bay Area, California, and the nation, right? And that's what we do. And so with that, I want to, if you can cue up the 2 slides, these are going like tips and kudos to cohort 10. They call themselves los más guapos, los mejores, the perfect 10. Right? And you see their name. There are 14, and you should be seeing their names on the screen. And with that, right in the middle, a year ago, we had a pivot. So they signed up for something, then we had a pivot. Kudos, ¿verdad? To them. And now cohort 11, the nickname hasn't stuck yet, but cohort 11 said, I got Zoom, but I want more Zoom because I know this is the time that we need to grow our leadership impact to benefit the Chicano Latino community here in the Bay Area and beyond. Y so con eso, we serve a tremendous need where it's leadership development across these 4 pillars to positively impact the Chicano Latino community in our home. Gracias. Y con eso, back to you. Open up the wallets.
Oh. Miguel, I want to buy whatever you're selling. I'm in. Awesome. Now, an appreciation of our community means recognizing that we can't do things alone. Juntos, we can go farther as a community. So let's now hear from two of LLA's partner organizations, Gabby Chavez Lopez, the president of the Latina Coalition of Silicon Valley, and the Honorable Ron Gonzalez, president and CEO of the Hispanic Foundation of Silicon Valley.
Wow, Dr. Rodriguez got me fired up. How about you guys? Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. It is so wonderful to be in community, albeit virtually, with all of you this evening. I'm Gabriela Chavez Lopez, and I'm the current president of the Latino Coalition of Silicon Valley, a local community-based organization that develops and strengthens the power of Latinas to advance our collective success through sisterhood, leadership, and civic engagement. I stand here tonight as a proud partner of the Latino Leadership Alliance. I want to congratulate LLA for the outstanding, steadfast work and impact they've sustained throughout the pandemic and over the past decade. And like so many in our nonprofit community, LLA rose to the occasion this past year to meet the increased needs of our Latino community. We at Latina Coalition intimately know the struggle to run a volunteer-based community organization during times like these. Similarly, our audiences are not only leaders in their familias, but also in their chosen career and civic life. We know the demands of Latino professionals and Latino-led organizations, and they are so real, let me tell you. So I want to say thank you and gratitude and acknowledge your efforts and commitment to advancing Latino leadership every day. The pandemic has truly brought us closer as partners and like-minded organizations, and we were able to leverage one another for greater impact. We were very proud to put out a joint statement after the murder of George Floyd, calling on for police accountability, acknowledging the legacy of our own communities over policing, and standing in solidarity with the Black community. Success also came as we collaborated on a local level to support a statewide effort, which was mentioned earlier, to call on Governor Newsom to appoint a Latino or Latina to the US Senate. And obviously, judging by our Olin recipient tonight, US Senator Alex Padilla, that collective voice was heard loud and clear. One of the many lessons I've learned over the past year is that we are better together. And leaning on one another through good times and bad has been game-changing for our community and for our Latino leadership pipeline we aim to foster. So tonight is a celebration as we explore what is possible for our community and for our strategic partnership. Also, every opportunity that we have to uplift achievements and success in our Latino community, we are here for it. We deserve it. So congratulations, LLA, for all that you've accomplished. And know this, we are just getting started. Adelante juntos. And next up, I'd like to welcome Ron Gonzalez, President and CEO of the Hispanic Foundation of Silicon Valley.
Thank you so much, Gabby. Wow, what an inspiration you are, and congratulations on your leadership of the most effective Latina coalition organization. And I am proud to be probably your only male member, so I'll keep paying my dues so I can maintain that distinction. Well, congratulations once again to the Latino Leadership Alliance. You know, as someone who first was elected to public office in 1978, which probably means 50% of you weren't even born at that time, I'm very proud to see the progress in Latino leadership here in Silicon Valley. You know, my service on the Sunnyvale City Council, on the Santa Clara County Board of Supervisors, and of course later as the mayor of San Jose. I wish that the Latino Leadership Alliance had existed 30 years ago so that I wouldn't have been the only one or the first one to have been elected to those offices. You know, the Hispanic Foundation of Silicon Valley is now an institution. We're over 30 years old, and I'm proud to have been and be the president and CEO of our organization for the last 11 years. And we focus on serving education excellence programs to thousands of Latino parents and their children throughout the school year, from third grade reading programs all the way up to and through college, where we're now supporting 399 Latino STEM majors through their college career and out the door, hopefully into high-tech jobs right here in Silicon Valley. We're very proud of the fact that 80% of those 399 scholars are first-generation college attendees in their family, And I'm very proud of the fact that 42% of them are Latinas. And you know that that's a difficult thing to do, is to get more and more Latinos interested in STEM careers, but we're doing it at the foundation. We're also delighted to have the Hispanic Latino Leadership Academy, a similar program to yours, but as you train future civic leaders, we're training present and future nonprofit board members. And it's a delightful program. We've graduated over 500 people, and we're in the middle of our 17th academy. And then, of course, the last area we focus on is convening and engaging the Latino community of Silicon Valley. We've put out many research projects, the most recent being the 2018 Silicon Valley Latino Report Card, and we're now planning for our next report card, which we hope to publish either in 2022 or 2023. Once again, congratulations to the Latino Leadership Alliance for the great work you do. For your leaders, both now and in the future, we look forward at the Hispanic Foundation of Silicon Valley working with the LLA, with the Latino Coalition of Silicon Valley, and all of your graduates to improve the quality of life for Silicon Valley Latino families. Thank you. Back to you, Damien.
Thank you, Mayor. You sound like a news anchor. Very awesome. You guys are awesome. You know, we knew this was going to be a night of inspiration, and y'all delivered. I appreciate all of you. Thank you, Mayor Ron and Gabby. Thank you to everyone who joined us this evening, to the LLA board, the sponsors, the supporters, and the LLA Gala Planning Committee. We appreciate your time this evening. And to everyone who has donated tonight on behalf of LLA, we give you a big thank you. Let's hear now from Los Tigres del Norte with an important message on COVID-19 vaccinations. We're not out of this yet. We got to still keep pounding on this. Following the video, and as we close out the program, please feel free to sit back and enjoy the musical talents of Salvador Vázquez tocando su arpa vieja. Muchas gracias y buenas noches.
Nosotros somos los Tigres del Norte. Estamos con los Tigres del Norte para hablar de un tema muy importante, las vacunas contra el COVID-19.
Sí, Damián, mucha gente tiene miedo a vacunarse, pero la verdad es que la vacuna es la única solución para acabar con esta pandemia que tanto daño nos ha hecho.
¿Y ustedes van a vacunarse?
Estamos esperando nuestro turno y estamos listos para vacunarnos.
Nuestra gente a veces escucha rumores de la vacuna y tiene duda.
Sí, Damián, pero debemos escuchar a los expertos, los doctores y a nuestras autoridades. Están haciendo lo suyo, pero nosotros también tenemos que poner de nuestra parte para salir adelante.
¿Y qué le puedes decir a nuestra gente sobre la vacuna del COVID-19?
Mi gente, la mejor opción es vacunarse.
Hazlo por ti, por tu familia y por todos.
Infórmate, edúcate y vacúnate. Para más información, visita telemundo48.com/vacuna.